Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It's time for my The Good Doctor recap. So to recap on tonight's episode, it starts off with this old guy collapsing on the in his house, and I guess I wasn't sure if it was his son at first, but it's his son. I guess comes to see him after so long, and we find out that his dad's allergic to allergic to a lot of things, and they find out that he actually has some serious cysts, and they have to operate, but it's like very serious surgery. It's one of the cysts is in his brain, so brain surgery. I'm sure that's anytime you have to operate on the brain, I'm sure there's a chance he can die on the table. So the dad and the son are like trying to reconnect from lost time, and the son was lying the fact that why he was gone. He says, oh, he had a girlfriend, but turns out he had a girlfriend, but it turned out she had a family and 2 kids and didn't want to leave. And the old guy always wanted his son to be in the grocery business, and always had like it was heartwarming. Like, he made this little apron for him when he was a kid, and he thought his son didn't want to be in the business. Like, he was like, his life was too good for him, but the son actually revealed that he didn't think he was good enough, would be good enough to run the business as his dad. And sure enough, the old guy actually comes through the surgery well. So he's able to recover, and him and his son were able to repair their relationship. But one of the big things about tonight's episode was there's this boy named Evan that came in, and he had appeared to have like a broken bone and everything, but he looks a lot like Sean's brother, and I was wondering if treating him would make it more complicated for Sean. And let me read my notes here. They also had some similarities. We know that Sean's brother obviously is dead, but the boy's Evan's brother, yeah, Evan's friend died, and that's when Sean reveals to him about how his brother died, and we find out, I believe it was an MRI they gave him, that the boy has a tumor in his brain, and when he's doing the MRI, it was actually nice because Sean actually, I mean, Sean's a doctor and Evan's a patient, but it seems like they had a nice little friendship going on. Sean revealed to him that he likes the neighbor girl, Leah, and Evan was teaching him sarcasm about people being funny, and we find out, sadly, that Evan has stage 4 bone cancer, and Evan's parents don't want him to know about the disease, and I think that's cruel because you could clearly see through the episode that Evan's a very wise boy. He's very smart for his age, and he definitely knows what's going on. And I think just lying to him is cruel. I mean, he deserves a right to know what's going on with him, what's happening to him, and he deserves to live his life to the fullest. And I think it's wrong of his parents to sugarcoat what's happening to him. And Sean also agrees. Sean thinks that Evan deserves to know the truth, but they're trying to tell Sean that it's not their place because the patient's a minor, that it's the parents' decision to tell or not. And because Sean has a hard time lying, he asks Claire to lie for him. And Evan thinks that Sean likes Claire, and I don't know, I don't really ship them as a couple. I don't ship anybody as a couple right now. I mean, the show's still new and still getting to know the characters and everything, but Sean did say out loud to Evan that he likes Leah, and that's huge for somebody with autism to admit that they have a crush on somebody. And Sean then tells Evan that he does have cancer, and Evan tells Sean that he's known for a long time and points out what I said before, that Evan's a smart kid. He knew exactly what was going on with him. And we find out that Evan discovered um how he discovered he got cancer is he researched his symptoms on Google, and the two things that came up were growing pains and osteosarcoma. And his parents got him a PS4, and as he pointed out, you don't get a PS4 for growing pains. And we find out, he didn't really say it, but it was really heavily implied that Evan doesn't believe in God because he has a hard time believing in God because he thinks that God made him sick. So he thinks that when he dies, he just dies. He doesn't go to heaven or anything. I think he knows what's going on, but I feel like he's having a little bit of a hard time accepting it, and I think anybody would be in that situation. Um, Sean then, tries to, because he's close to Evan, he wants to try to figure out a way to save him, and Sean discovers that Evan doesn't have cancer. He tells Melendez his findings. You know how Melendez is, and Melendez actually for a split second looked like he was actually listening to Sean, and um, we find out that there was a slight chance to save Evan, but it's from what they pointed out, it was giving the parents false hope in a way because there was only 3% chance it could save him. So, Melendez didn't want to do it, and then he didn't want to listen to Sean saying, and the president even said that it's cruel to give the parents false hope. Well, I think it's cruel that if there's just the slightest chance to save Evan, I would think they'd want to do everything to, try to save him. I would think that they would want to use all the resources that they have available to them, and if it doesn't work, then accept that this is terminal. So, um, Sean tells Sean tells Evan this, and when he's about to do this procedure to figure out if he has cancer or if he doesn't have cancer, his parents come in and wondering what he's doing, and Sean's dad literally throws Sean out of the room, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? He's trying to save his son. And then we see Evan coughing up blood, and that can't be good. So um they take him into surgery, and Melendez still will not let Sean assist in surgery. I mean, we're in episode like what, 4 or 5 now, and we clearly see that Sean knows what he's doing. So why the hell won't Melendez let Sean assist? But we see that they're able to get the embolism in his lungs, but they find out during surgery that Evan does in fact have cancer, and it has metastasized. So his condition is terminal, which means Sean was wrong, and I feel bad for him because Sean literally tried. He tried to save his patient, and what I'm seeing a lot in The Good Doctor is that what I think the beautiful thing about this show is that Sean is learning to use his voice to speak up and advocate, and if Sean weren't in the hospital, many of these patients wouldn't be here because of Melendez's ignorance, and because Sean wouldn't be able to put in his input. I mean, we saw in these past episodes that when Sean speaks up, he's literally saving lives. Not only the patient's lives, but he's saving his own life. He's giving himself a voice that he hasn't had before. And or like episode 4, and I can already see Sean has grown a lot in these past 4 episodes. So Evan informs his parents that he's known about cancer all along and that he won't be alone, that his grandma and his aunts and uncles will be there. So that makes me think that he does believe in heaven, contrary to what he said before. And Sean reads Evan a book that his brother used to read, To Kill a Mockingbird. I've never read that book, but I heard To Kill a Mockingbird is a great book. But yeah, I definitely love the show. I literally felt bad for both Evan and Sean because, Evan's dying, but at the same time, Sean literally did everything he could to try and save him, and that there's just no hope. I mean, that's got to be hard both on doctor and patient. The doctor to give that news and the patient to live with that. But yeah, next week's episode looks really intense. Apparently, there's like a big bus crash, and it's like all hands on deck. So I'm wondering if Melendez is gonna let Sean assist because they need all hands on deck. So what is Melendez gonna do? Tell Sean he can't help or anything? He can't work on the patients. So I hope you guys enjoyed The Good Doctor. If you want to catch The Good Doctor, it is on Mondays, 10 p.m. on ABC. Until next time, stay regal.